Good afternoon, everyone. The October 2nd, 2025 regular council meeting is called to order at 4 o'clock. Council would like to acknowledge the Ucluelet on whose traditional territories the District of Ucluelet operates. Audience members and delegates are advised that this proceeding is being video recorded and broadcast on YouTube and Zoom, which may store data on foreign servers. There are some late items. Does everyone have them?
Yep.
May I have a motion to amend the October 2nd, 2025 regular council meeting agenda by adding the late items titled Gail Gordon regarding urgent proposed fishing closures, Alan Kukier regarding First Light Development, and BC Transit regarding BC Transit Media Advisory, under correspondence as items number 8.1, 8.2, and 8.3, and to renumber the remaining items on the agenda accordingly.
So moved.
I'll second.
Councillor Noel, Councillor Hoare, all in favor? None opposed, that carries. May I have a motion to amend the October 2nd, 2025 regular council meeting agenda by adding the late item titled Strategic Priorities Fund Grant under reports as item 6.5.
So moved.
Councillor
Second.
Noel, Councillor Hoare, all in favor? None opposed, that carries. May I have a motion to adopt the October 2nd, 2025 regular council meeting agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second.
Councillor Hoare and Councillor Noel, all in favor? None opposed, that carries. There is one set of meeting minutes for adoption. Are there any errors or omissions for the meeting minutes? Seeing none, I will move that the minutes of September 16th, 2025 regular council meeting be adopted as presented. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Noel seconds. All in favor? None opposed? That carries. Is there any unfinished business? No, seeing none, there are 5 reports on the agenda today. The first report is titled 2024 Annual Report, and it will be presented by Mr. Chow, Director of Corporate Services and Bylaw. Mr. Chow.
Thank you. Through Mayor to Council, this is standard items for municipality for each year. We was supposed to complete before the June 30. We have a delay of receiving the audit report, but now we have the audit report with us. So this is for Council to approve. So far, we haven't received any public feedback on the annual report. Thank you.
All right, I would like just to note there is one typo on page 29. It says 2023 planned projects, and it should say 2025 planned projects. Does council have any questions for Mr. Chow?
Regarding the annual report,
Yes.
my only comment is it just seems like we have a lot of money, and I guess there'll be something that we'll get to a little later on. Obviously, it's very evident that we haven't been spending the money that we've been planning. So I look forward into the budget season to see how we can start to use this or redirect these funds into initiatives that we need in town. Would be my only comment.
Great. Thanks. Councillor Noel? Any other questions for Mr. Chow?
I just want to briefly jump on that, and I know there's a committee of the whole coming up. I know that there are often wide variety of very committed community groups that approach council and district for funding every year, and that could be something to consider. I know that it's always the case that seem to be strapped for cash when grant and aids come up, and a bit of a disconnect. So maybe this year will be different, and we can allocate funds towards supporting community groups.
More than usual is what you mean.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Great.
Of course, I didn't mean to imply it, but yes, more than usual.
Thank you, Councillor Mafty. Any other comments from council? All right, council will now provide an opportunity for the public to comment on the 2024 annual report. There are clearly no audience members that wish to address council. Are there any members of the public attending by Zoom or telephone that wish to address council?
Thank you, Mayor McEwen. There are none.
And have we received any emails to communityinput@ucluelet.ca?
We have not.
All right, there is one recommendation, if somebody would like to make it.
That council adopt the District of Hewlett 2024 annual report as attached.
You're moving that?
Good.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hoare seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, that carries. The second report on the agenda today is Local Government Management Association Internship Grant Application, and it will be also presented by Mr. Chow, Director of Corporate Services and Bylaw.
Thank you. Through Mayor to Council, so this come to our attention through an email from LGMA. They provide one region for each, the LGMA region for one opportunity for municipality to apply for this internship. It is a cooperation between LGMA and Municipal Affairs, and they will put up $47,000, $42,000 toward intern salary, $5,000 toward the professional development. They do want the municipal top up to make this position more attractive to the internship. We propose $15,000 top up for the salary and the $5,000 top up for the professional development. And there is some special projects as well for 2026 when we're looking at the general election is coming. Like for this year, we spent $20,000 just get a consultant help for by-election. And also we have bylaw and policy, review. We always want to do that. There is consolidation work we can do. And also on records management. After the flood of the basement district, lots of files get displaced and we'll, never really get a chance to sort those out. So just think it's a great opportunity to attract some new graduates to UKI. I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chow. So this would be for a 12-month term, correct?
From, I think, 2026 May to 2027 May.
And this extra $20,000 that we contribute, that would come out of the corporate services operating budget?
Yes.
Okay, great. Any questions for staff? Councillor Hoare?
Not a question, just a comment. I think this is a really great program, and I think it behooves us to apply. I am all for this. Teach the youngins. We could also, maybe somebody's got a spare surfboard and we can toss that in as an incentive.
Incentive, right. And this opportunity is for local governments in BC with a population of 25,000 or under that are eligible to apply, right? And they're offering 6. So yeah, let's cross our fingers. That's great. So I think there is one recommendation, unless there's other questions from council.
I've got it.
Okay, Councillor Hoare.
I will move that council authorize staff to submit an application to the LGMA internship program to host a local government intern for a 12-month term in 2026-2027 and commit a municipal contribution of $20,000, $15,000 towards salary, and $5,000 towards professional development should the District of Ucluelet be selected as a host community.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Second that.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion?
So there's just 6 positions out of the how many communities? So if we're not successful, is this still a position that you may want to see at your fingertips? For
I
next
think
year?
so. Really, if we don't get the grants, we
Right.
probably still need looking for a position
Yeah, okay.
just to take care of all these projects.
Yeah, because whatever you got going on sounds important.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah, you listed a number of projects that
Yeah.
we could definitely use some extra bandwidth for. Any further discussion? All in favor? None opposed? That carries. Thank you. The next report on the agenda is 2026 council meeting schedule, and it will also be presented by Mr. Chow.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm okay. Through Mayor to Council. So this is, we run quite a few iterations, I try to figure out all the dates for the conference council used to go. Also try to adjust for the staff day. So mainly new for 2026 is we add 4 call meeting. Those are new. And it also can be for Harbor Authority meeting as well. So they have their own meetings and also give us a platform so we can have this exchange of ideas, informal discussions before any formalized report to actual council. So that's new for 2026. Thank you.
Great, thank you. I took the time to look up the conference's dates myself as well. And you're all good for LGLA, you're good for AVICC, you're good for UBCM. The only one that didn't post next year's dates was VIA, Vancouver Island Economic Alliance. So that October 27th date may have to change because this year it's October 28th to 30th, but they don't have next year's dates posted yet. So
And that may have to do with the general election occurring next October as well.
possibly, yeah, that's right. Yeah, any questions for Mr. Chow? Councillor Noel?
Just regarding small craft harbors, is this the standard selection of small craft harbor meetings? There's always one in the middle of the summer?
I pick the schedule based on what we previously do is
Right.
basically treat them as one of the item come at the regular meeting. So I try to put them close to the date. And but the CEO, Ms. Harding, also mentioned wanted it to be sort of a dedicated meeting by himself. So that's what I put them with the 4 additional new call meeting. So would have their own meetings. But we can always adjust. Like this schedule, just publish at a notice. But whenever we change, we just need to provide a public notice.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's just last year that we switched so that the Harbour Authority didn't have their own separate meeting and combined it with a regular council meeting. So now we're looking at going back the other way.
Yeah.
Mr. Harding?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Chow and I discussed it. I've also talked with Ms. Fortune, and it just seems it seems to get lost in the regular meeting that it's not really focusing on as a separate harbor authority. And I think it's important that you sit and be able to focus on what your role is as a harbor authority. And I think it's what I've heard is it's a time for, again, we have an agenda specific to that. People can come and speak to that specifically and focus on what that might be.
Yeah, I liked it better when it was its own separate meeting rather than just kind of tucked into a regular meeting.
Yeah, I did too, and I think I guess where I was going with it, I thought there was a big gap between the summer, and that seemed like there was almost 5 or 6 months there wasn't a small craft harbor meeting. Since we're laboring on it, I will be specific here. Yeah, I again, as you just mentioned, if we so choose to want to change the schedule, we can simply do it. So I don't want to waste your whole evening on this, but
Yeah, we
I
can provide the
I
notice.
thought maybe there would be, with the opportunity of small craft harbor, that we may want to meet prior to the peak season rather than in the winter. Then the peak season's come and gone. If there's any kind of things that the harbor authority would like to see, I guess executed down there, might be an opportunity to do that. But as you said, we can call a meeting anytime.
Yeah.
Okay.
So May or June is sort of what you're thinking, Councillor Noel?
A little prior to that, actually, but again, but anyways, it's fine. I've labored too long on it. I just, I think I'm pleased to hear that we're going to have an independent evening on that, because it does get, it's just on someone's desk, and I don't think the harbor's been given the gravity and the importance that it has in the past. So, with some things that we possibly got going in our harbor, this might be a good opportunity for us to focus on it. So, good job.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. Harding, did you have your hand up? No, okay. There are 2 recommendations, and they should be 2 separate motions.
I can do that.
Councillor Anderson?
I'll move the council adopt the 2026 annual council meeting schedule as presented in Appendix A and direct staff to give notice of the 2026 annual council meeting schedule.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Noel seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, that carries.
I will further move that council receive the revised 5-year financial plan meeting schedule 2026 to 2030 as presented in Appendix B.
Councillor Noel seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, that carries. The fourth report on the agenda is 2026 council appointments. It will also be presented by Mr. Chow.
Through mayor to council. So this appointments continue with the current arrangement. So basically carry on for the last year of the term. And we do notice one of the on the Economic Development Commission that will be the mayor instead of Councillor Noval. We make that change. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Chow? Councillor Anderson?
Oh, no, on the Appendix B, it says acting mayor schedule. So do we get to swap out for those? Or instead of, no, I just meant because the title is acting mayor schedule, but I thought it was deputy mayor, isn't it, for that?
It should read deputy mayor. That's right.
That's what the pin says.
What's that?
That's what the pin says.
Does that schedule work for everyone? The deputy mayor schedule?
I will note a typo in Councillor Noel's name on that page.
Okay, but the scheduling works for everybody. Okay, great.
So we're nitpicking tonight, aren't we?
Well, there's not a lot on the agenda actually, so
We will take our time.
we can take our time. So there are 7 motions, and I think
So it's yeah. I guess regarding the first one. So has council appointed the mayor, or has the mayor appointed herself to the role for recommendation number 1?
for on the ACRD board.
The ACRD
That,
board.
that was previously done, yeah.
Yeah, it's just continuing on.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other questions for staff?
Like they can all be done together?
No, I believe they need to be 7 separate motions.
Okay. I'll move that council appoint Mayor McEwen as the director and Councillor Mafty as the alternate director on the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District Board of Directors for the 2026 calendar year.
Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, that carries.
I'll further move that council appoint Councillor Hoare as trustee and Councillor Anderson as alternate trustee on the Vancouver Island Regional Library Board of Trustees for the 2026 calendar year.
Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Councillor Noel, are you voting?
You want my hand up?
Yeah. Okay, so all in favor? None opposed. That carries. Thank you.
I'll further move that council appoint Councillor Noel as the District of Euclid's voting delegate, Councillor Hoare as alternate voting delegate number 1, and Mayor McEwen as alternate voting delegate number 2 for the Municipal Insurance Association of British Columbia for the 2026 calendar year.
I'll second.
Councillor Hoare seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed. That carries.
I'll further move that council appoint Mayor McEwen as the district's representative on the Tourism Euclid's board for the 2026 term.
Thank you, Councillor Mafty. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion? Councillor Noel?
How much time does that take of your agenda to do Tourism Euclid board? You have a seat on that board? Can you tell me about it?
Yes, it's a voting seat. Unlike the community forest, which I attend, but it's not a voting position, but the Tourism Euclid is a voting seat, and it's just one meeting every 2 months. It's not a lot of commitment. And I have a little report because under Councillor and Mayor's reports, I did attend their board meeting just a couple of weeks ago, so I'll give a little update on that. Did we vote on that? No. All in favor? None opposed. That carries.
Get that MRDT back.
I'll further move that council appoint Councillors Anderson and Mayor McEwen as the district's representatives on the Ucluelet Chamber of Commerce Economic Development Committee for the 2026 term.
I'll second.
Councillor Hoare seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed. That carries.
I'll further move that council adopt the 2026 council appointments as set out in Appendix A.
Thank you, Councillor Mafty.
I'll second.
Councillor Hoare seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, that carries.
And finally, I'll move that councillors Anderson, Hoare, Noel, and Mafty be designated to serve as acting mayor in accordance with the schedule set out in Appendix B.
Thank you, Councillor Mafty.
I'll second.
Councillor Hoare seconds. Any further discussion?
Is it acting deputy mayor or no? Or is it just acting mayor?
It's just deputy mayor.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be an acting in there. All in favor? None opposed, that carries. Thank you. The fifth report on the agenda is Strategic Priorities Fund Grant, and this will be presented by Mr. Cadman, our Director of Finance.
Thank you, Mayor. Essentially, at the July 22nd open council meeting, council directed staff to apply for grant opportunities under both the capital and the capacity building stream of the Strategic Priorities Fund. So they've started to review applications. They took a look at our motions, and they reached out and they like a little bit different wording, which is presented in these motions. Essentially, what they're really looking for is that we commit to paying any overruns. So if we go over and above what the grant is for, we are able to fund that portion, which is what they're looking for in the updated verbiage. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
So it's not a guarantee that they will fund it. It's just looking for a commitment from us to cover any overages.
Precisely. And then there's some updated keywords that they're looking for. They're really onto grant management, which is why that was updated. There's just certain keywords that they're looking for in their motions. So that's what's before you.
Okay, and that was the funding stream that we wanted to use for our sewer infrastructure, correct?
Precisely. So the sewer infrastructure will be under the capital stream, and the capacity was switching to citywide asset management for planning and asset management.
So we applied under both streams.
Correct.
Great, thank you. Any questions for staff? All right, I may be the only one that has these motions. Does anyone have them in there?
We all have them, don't
Do
we?
you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there are two separate motions.
I'm happy to do that. I'll move that council authorize staff to apply to the Strategic Priorities Fund Capital Infrastructure Stream to fund sanitary system improvements, and that council support the project and commit to its share of $4,969,487, as well as any cost overruns while providing overall grant management.
I'll second that.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, that carries.
And I'll further move that council authorize staff to apply to the Strategic Priorities Fund Capacity Building Stream to fund a conversion to PSD citywide software for asset management, permitting, and planning, and that council support the project and commit to fund any cost overruns while providing overall grant management.
Thank you, Councillor Mafty. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second that.
Councillor Anderson seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed, that carries.
Looking forward to that citywide software. That'll be great for project tracking.
Yes, I think we do, Mr. Harding, we do use citywide in some capacity right now, do we not?
Yeah.
In the
That's correct. We use it for call for service for public works.
Public Works, that's right.
Some of our asset management.
Some of our
Some of the asset management.
asset management. Okay, great. Great, we'll cross our fingers on that one. Thanks, Mr. Cadman. Are there any notices of motion? There are three pieces of correspondence on the agenda today. The first one is from Gail Gordon regarding urgent proposed fishing closures. Are there any comments from councillor? Does anyone want to speak to this one?
I just wanted to highlight it. I've been following this, and
Your mic's not on.
I did want to speak to this briefly. I've been following DFO's Southern Resident Killer Whale Management protocol and process for many years now. They came to Ucluelet, they came to Tofino, they came to a number of coastal communities to solicit input, to get feedback over the years. I am not usually the type of person to get overly excited about opposing conservation measures, but it's been my impression that this is a highly politicized attempt to address an issue the wrong way, and I think that it would be a big mistake for us to overlook the potential impacts to the recreational and commercial and personal fishery sectors in this community. It would be devastating, and I would not be overly concerned if I actually thought that that was going to make a real impact in terms of conserving or protecting southern resident killer whales. But I think this is going to cost has the potential to cost a lot of communities a lot without making a whit of difference to any whales. And I think that it's hard enough for individuals to speak up and sort of rally the troops, but it's probably the role of municipal government to present a calm, rational opposition at the time that we may have the opportunity to do so.
And are they still looking for input, or is that phase over?
I think my understanding right now is that what's been proposed is preliminary. I don't know if they are going to seek input before actioning any of the items that they're probably dealing with internally. I certainly have not heard about any opportunities to provide input other than just to sort of write in. In the past, they've had like an open house, come to the community, had a mic, had representatives on hand. I don't know if that's going to happen, and it's not clear to me what the process is between where we are today and potential implementation of these restrictions.
So would you like staff to look into this for us and look at what options we may have?
I would hesitate to put it on staff's desk. I think that that's something that maybe, I certainly volunteer as a counselor to look into it and maybe just informally communicate amongst ourselves. And then if it seems like there is an opportunity to do something, to go from there. But I just didn't want this to slide by and no one talks about it and we don't really know what's going on. And then next thing you know, there's a fisheries closure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would not have known about this if this late correspondence had not come to us. So that's maybe a bit of lack of me digging into it further, but I would have thought that I would have seen something more publicized about it.
I think it is preliminary. Like I don't think this is like leaked or anything, but it's not my understanding that this is necessarily what's going to happen. Merely that this has been proposed as a possible strategy that DFO may want to adopt.
Right. Any insight, Councillor Hoare? I know you're into the fisheries too.
I did see this slightly previous to it landing on our agenda, but that was just from my internal DFO emails for GTAC. So I don't have a huge amount of insight. It is...
That's groundfish that you...
Groundfish Trawl Advisory Council.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about this one. I was reading over it yesterday. They've done a lot of closures down around Souk. It's actually not been bad for their recreational fishers. But yeah, I haven't taken a look at the stats on it for this one, for up here.
All right, so we'll leave it in your capable hands to dig into. Councillor Noel, did you have something to say?
Yeah, I think it's important. Just out of our process, I think we need to force the report off to the Small Craft Harbor Authority, and I think that's probably the arena we might be able to speak a bit more, or if we have to do a letter campaign or anything else. So, much like dealing with the federal government, if they made their decision already, we can't do too much about it. But, I think we're very fortunate to have a person like Mark Mafty at the table here, and obviously Jennifer with your guys' science background and that kind of stuff. So I think we're well tooled if we need to do a little bit of letter writing or shaking a couple trees, because as Mr. Mafty says here, we can't underestimate the impact that this would have on this coastal community.
All right, we'll leave it to you then, Councillor Mafty, to
I'll do my best.
bring us up to speed.
Do my best.
Thank you. The second correspondence item is Alan Cookier regarding First Light Development. Would any member of council like to bring this item forward? Mr. Harding, did you reply to this particular one?
Yes, Mayor. I replied to the individual and also indicated if any other clients of the Lot 13 development need updates, they can contact myself directly.
So it sounds like just a little bit of communication needed to be happening here.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. The third and last correspondence item is BC Transit regarding BC Transit Media Advisory. And that one has to do with changing, I think, changing seasonally to, where are we here? A seasonal service change effective October 5th. As part of this change, weekday trips at 9:20 from Ucluelet and 10:25 from Tofino will be seasonally removed from service. It says, while meeting service in the Millstream neighborhood will continue to be important, we recognize the impact it is having on the community. As a result, every second trip on Route 1 between Tofino and Ucluelet has been eliminated to go into Millstream, the Millstream neighborhood. And then it finally says the ACRD and BC Transit continue to work with partners at the Ministry of Transportation and Transit to evaluate alternate options for suitable stop locations to serve the Millstream neighborhood, including possible highway locations. Initially, BC Transit ruled out a highway stop just because of the danger aspect of it. But I think the ACRD is now looking into an option for having that happen rather than the buses going through the Millstream neighborhood constantly at speeds that the residents are not comfortable with their kids playing in that neighborhood with no sidewalks and no parks. So that's just a little update from BC Transit.
Can I?
Yep.
Obviously, you were aware that they were reducing the bus schedules.
I was not, no.
Oh, because it says the ACRD made the decision. The way I read it.
No, I think it's BC Transit.
I'm truly disappointed at the fact that they're cutting a bus service off. When I see high school kids using this service, it's dark at 5 o'clock at night here pretty quick, and the fact that they're calling this seasonal, I don't think they've even done the service long enough to understand what a normal rate of people on there is. So I'm disappointed, and I'd actually like to send a letter back to the ACRD. Hopefully that I can get support from somebody else at this table to put that motion on the floor to send them back a letter with our displeasure with changing the schedule. I don't think it's a monetary thing. I think it's just easier for them to do that, and I think if anything, they should be running that schedule for at least 2 seasons to understand the true users groups. And there's teenage girls going back and forth through the 2 towns, and I think it's 2025, and I just find it's foolish on their behalf, the BC Transit and the regional district, to just send us a little letter. I don't think unless there's been interviews with you guys that I'm not aware of. Again, you sit on the ACRD board, and I hope that you can be an advocate for us. But I think this is like dealing with the previous one regarding the southern killer whales. We're just giving a letter with zero dialogue about why they're doing it. So I'm completely opposed, and I would I'd like to make a motion to send an ACRD a letter with reviewing their decision because I think I think it ill serves the entire region.
Just to be clear, I do sit on the ACRD board, and this was not brought before us. And normally it would come to a West Coast Committee meeting of the ACRD, and there was supposed to be one in September, but it was cancelled because of the wildfires. The ACRD were extremely busy and cancelled several meetings like the West Coast Committee. So that would have been the meeting that BC Transit would have notified the ACRD about this change, and because the meeting was cancelled, we were not told about it. But happy to entertain that motion to show our displeasure about the dropping of the two.
You may not
Two
all
pairs.
agree with it, but if there's someone able to second that motion to send a support letter, I would appreciate that.
I'll second it.
Thank you.
Councillor Hoare seconds. Further discussion?
Just that, I think it's, regardless of places burning, I think it just really echoes how the regional district doesn't reach out to us. And I know they rely on the West Coast Committee. Again, this is not the way it should be delivered. If anything, they should have postponed the changing of the schedule to get proper consultation from the West Coast Committee. And maybe the West Coast Committee would have said nothing. Again, I would just like to, however you want to, the staff word it, but I would challenge the changing of the schedule without consultation of council, and I'd actually go over to the high school and talk to those kids, because again, they're using it every day, and you're putting people at risk that don't need to be at risk.
So this letter is signed by BC Transit Communications. It's obviously come from BC Transit, not the ACRD. So I would say if a letter is going to be put forward from us, it needs to go to both BC Transit and the ACRD. Is that a friendly amendment to your motion?
Oh, whatever, yeah, whatever table you want to get it on, I think it's great. So,
Okay, and you're okay seconding that, Councillor Hoare? Any further discussion?
Mayor, if I could just add, I think before we send the letter too, I'd like to consult with the Recreation Department, because I think when I first came here, Ms. Fortune was telling me about successful Friday teen drop-in that's here, and that bus was very important for those teens then to get back to Tofino after. But there might be some other programs that would be good to include in that, and what the bus is used for.
That would be good information to have, for sure, because these are the late night ones, 9:20 and 10:25. Yeah, okay.
And I know the youth group things last late enough to need like the 9:20 for sure, if not the 10:25.
Yeah.
It really is the way the kids get around.
you can't,
Not
you
old
can't,
enough to drive.
yeah, you sucker them in on it for a while, then it's like you cue it 1980s again, right?
And then they're hitchhiking.
Yeah, so I thank you all for entertaining the idea.
Perfect. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? None opposed. That carries. Is that enough information for you, Mr. Cha?
We come up some wording. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
This might not be the place for it, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's just one of the other things that we need from BC Transit is to have a conversation about added stops for the new medical center.
Yes, and at UBCM we did bring that up, so hopefully they heard us. All right. On to mayor's announcements and councillor reports. I did want to, just before council reports, I did want to bring everybody's attention to the fact that the Ucluelet Fire Brigade is having an open house this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the fire hall. It's their annual open house during BC's Fire Prevention Week, and so they're inviting the community to come and meet the amazing members who serve us. And they are also doing a volunteer drive. They're inviting people to try on gear, ask questions, learn about the benefits, and see if becoming a volunteer firefighter is a good fit. So the schedule of events: 10 a.m. There's a fire hall and apparatus tour. 10:30 there's an adult and kid obstacle course. 11 o'clock there's an auto extrication demo. 11:30 fire prevention demo. 12 o'clock fire hall apparatus tour, and also at 12 o'clock till 1 barbecue. And I think some of us were there last year. I know I was, and it was a great event. Kids love it. Kids love going and sitting in the fire truck, and they do a great barbecue. So just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. All right, Councillor Anderson.
All right, here we go. There was a lot of things that happened. So going back, I guess, to September the 19th, seems like a long time ago, or our lucky our CAO got us council housing workshop, and that was terrific. So we got a chance to go over the focus there was, I guess, on sort of two things. Was the HAF with grant funding that we got, which is I think in total it's close to 4 million. We've had 2 million so far. 2 million, and then we got half of that so far, right? I should know that.
Yes.
And then the second part of that was the comprehensive zoning bylaw review that we're talking about with Urban Systems, which was great. And that carried over to the UBCM, where we got a chance to go visit Urban Systems at their office and actually get a chance to sit across from, again, thank you for setting that up with CMHC themselves. We had a representative from there. So that's great, because I think there was some miscommunication there about what the requirements were and what we were obligated to fulfill. So to go back and check that, I think we were put on a naughty list inadvertently. We didn't think that we would be, but we ended up on that.
It's a watch list.
A watch list, sorry. Yeah, naughty list. And but it sounds like we're untangling that one now, and we'll be able to get back on track with some things, and it looks like there's a bit of flexibility there. So that was great. So I probably won't go into too much with the UBCM. We probably all have a good story for there. Maybe the only thing that I'll talk about is the meeting that we went to with the Minister of Jobs and Economic Growth, with Minister Callan, and I spoke for probably 15 minutes without breathing. So there was a lot to get in, and I might have gone a little too quick on that one. And I went over the master plan, but there's a lot in there, and that I think we're all passionate about. And part of that is being able to expand some economic diversity in town. We have vessel electrification happening at the old Trapple lot that's moving ahead. They'll be in town next week with their architects to get things started. And then that ties into the possibility of that lot being used for other sort of next-gen technologies or sustainable, what we guys call blue economy, which could be wave energy or seaweed. And then that spills over into the idea that if we can potentially get that DFO building divested, we could turn that into a research and commercialized blue economy facility, or what Coast calls the decarbonization hub. So that's really exciting stuff. But there was a lot to say there, and then North Island College is part of that, and it all kind of, yeah, there was a lot in that plan to get out. So, but I think we're inching forward on that one, which is great. I think we had little steps, and then we had a meeting, a blue economy meeting yesterday or yesterday the day before, and we decided that we'll probably really target how we ask for funding, because and make sure that we're all kind of doing it at the same time, because there's about 3 or 4 different entities trying to help us get this going, and we just don't want to. We want to make sure we're not competing for the same thing. So REDIP would be one of them, and we want to make sure that we're all doing it with a synergy instead of just muddy waters there. So there's some documentation that Coast, is the Center for Oceanographic Applied Sustainable Technologies, is helping us sort of make sure that we're aiming in the right direction and focusing our energy that way, which is kind of a lesson I learned talking to the minister, because there was so much all of a sudden at the end. He's like, well, what do you want? And I was like, oh, there were so many things in there, I'm not even sure what my ask is. But yeah, so we had to focus that one a little bit. But yeah, UBCM was great. I'll let you guys say more about that.
Great. Thanks, Councillor Anderson. Councillor Hoare.
Focus, Sean. Focus. It's all good. It's important to be excited about things, so I get it. All right. The housing workshop, I agree, really good, on September 19th. On September 20th, I was attending the Regional Library Board meeting. The new library up in Masset opened in early September. And something that it's a collaboration with the Haida Language Immersion Lab, and it's actually the first time they've done that in Canada. So, and they think possibly North America, but they're checking that out. And it just looked like a really neat space. Unfortunately, the big splashy grand opening happened the day after they lost a member of their community. So it was an instant pivot, tone it down, do a quiet thing, but the building itself is beautiful. So if you're up in Masset, definitely check it out. Also, the business case for the Tofino branch passed the board, so they're working on that. So they might actually have a real library space, which would be great for them because they've been this tiny little, maybe 1,000 square feet in the bottom of the Legion. So they're looking to collaborate with some other groups and be part of a bigger build. The financial plan for 26 to 2030 passed. The thing everybody wants to know, the levy increase for 2020 for the next year is 4.6 overall. For Ucluelet, that means a 4.1% increase. And I'm sure that Jeff, our CFO, has already heard this. But yeah, so that was the big news out of the library board meeting. And that was a rainy day. I was really sorry to miss the Clayoquot Biosphere Trust's 25th anniversary celebration up in Tofino, but yeah, I was stuck on a computer. UBCM started, we went down the next day. There were some great sessions. I attended a really interesting one on invasive species, and there's some interesting work being done with invasive species bylaws. And one of the things I hadn't really thought about, someone brought it up, is when we do things like cutting the broom and bloom, which we do out here, obviously, where does that broom go? Councillor Noel might be able to tell us, but if it goes into the same stream as compost, well, then the seeds end up in the earth that then gets recycled into garden. So they were talking about how you really have to have a whole separate stream for invasives, and somehow I hadn't really done the math in my head, but it's really silly because I know that if I pull the black spot off my roses, I don't put it in my compost, I put it in my garbage. But I hadn't really thought about it on a larger scale, like when you're doing a big eradication of some sort. And they were talking about some positive ones that they've done in and around the city in Richmond when they got a bad aquatic species in the dike system. And they actually have managed, the week before the meetings, they had their 5 years clear report, so which means that the nasty stuff is gone, which is great. Anyway, it was an interesting session. And I just want to leave everybody with a reminder that came out of the mental health session, which I believe our Minister of Health referred to as the most important session at UBCM. And the quote comes from their keynote speaker, who was Corey Hirsch, for those of you who are hockey fans. And he said something to remember: a bad day is just one day. There's always tomorrow. So I've had a few bad days recently, so heads up, everybody. The next month's going to be horrible.
There's always tomorrow.
But there's always tomorrow. And there's always another council meeting. And then just the other day, on the 30th, I attended the Truth and Reconciliation display at the secondary school, and that was something they had partnered with CBT, as they do every year, to bring in the Legacy of Hope Foundation's display on a national crime, Canada's Indian residential school system. The part that I really love is reading the poetry that the kids have written, and it was grade 8 English this year that did the poetry. There's art in the forms of T-shirts and sweatshirts that the kids have made in Shannon McQuinney's class. And it's their insights that I find the most fascinating. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like reading about the history. I've read a lot about that time. It's not great. But I really like seeing the kids learning about it, because this is part of our history. I'm a settler, I know it. Anyway, that is what I've been up to.
Great, thank you, Councillor Hoare. Councillor Mafty.
Also attended UBCM. I don't think I've got too much to add on top of what's already been said. I did attend the CBT's 25th anniversary festivities and celebration in Tofino, and it was lovely. Good time had by all. Lots of folks up there, lots of good food, lots of lots of people coming out of the woodwork to celebrate, I think, a pretty remarkable quarter century of commitment to enriching the community. And yeah, it was awesome. And on that note, on October 17th coming up, the Raincoast Education Society is having their 25th anniversary party. It'll probably be a little bit less extravagant. It's going to be at the Ucluelet Brewery, though, and I think we're going to start postering and advertising tomorrow. So you guys all have a early start. Keep an eye out and get your tickets before they sell out. It's going to be really fun. Yeah, that's my report.
Is that a Tuesday?
It is a Friday, October 17th.
Oh, because normally a private function, he'll just allow on Tuesdays.
Well, Dennis is on our board, so maybe we got the inside track.
Inside scoop. Okay. Thank you for that. Councillor Noel?
I think everyone's covered everything. It was just nice to go back to another UBCM meeting, and although we didn't have many minister meetings, the ones that we had, I think we got to say our case, and I really, it was nice to get some time with you, Mr. Mafty and Mr. Anderson, and I've worked with the other two, and it was just nice to kind of, I get dropped in here and just to see how you guys work behind the scenes, and I think Mark had said it, left town. It was. I left there with a sense of confidence of the things that are coming before the town that were in good hands. So it was nice to we had to get a little bit of time with both of you. So thank you. And we didn't come home with any big checks, but I think we were able to irritate a couple people. That's the whole point of the exercise, and maybe they'll remember our names next time, right? So thank you for having me come along.
Thank you, Councillor Noel. All right, for myself, September 17th, I was at the Tourism Ucluelet Board meeting. They are usually held at Blackrock over lunch, which is nice, in the ballroom. And a couple of highlights from that meeting. A nomination committee was struck because 3 of the board members will be leaving as of the AGM this coming spring. So just putting a word out there, anybody interested in participating on the board, they will be looking for 3 new board members. We approved support for the CBT 25th anniversary gathering. We also approved a contribution to the Edge to Edge marathon for this year. And there's going to be a board retreat. We have one every winter. This one is November 14th to 16th. And Nick suggested holding it in Bamfield to help them out a little bit because they were so hit so hard with the wildfires this summer. So give them a little bit of revenue with doing our board retreat over there, going by boat, hopefully. November's always good weather. That's right. UBCM was great. Left Sunday. We had our group dinner Sunday night. We missed Councillor Noel, but the rest of us managed to have a meal together, which is always nice. Some of my favorite things happened on the very first day, on the Monday. There was a breakfast meeting with the Resort Communities Collaborative, so that's the 14 resort municipalities. So there were the 14 mayors and the 14 CAOs. Breakfast meeting with the Ministry of Tourism and Minister Kang, who was there as well. And so there was some program highlights from us that were put together by the sort of steering committee, going over how important RMI funds are and some of the projects that have been completed and could not have been done without those funds from the government, from the province. And then the Ministry of Tourism did their own presentation because we have been lobbying them for several years now to help us look for ways of fixing our aging infrastructure, which the tourists are taxing very heavily, especially in our 14 resort municipalities. So they did do a presentation, and they came up with 5 potential sort of revenue streams of how to help us with our aging infrastructure. So no decisions yet, but at least I felt that we've come a little bit further than we ever had with the Ministry of Tourism to make them understand that it's a huge cost to small communities that are hosting over 1 million visitors a year. Mr. Harding, anything to add to that? You were there with me.
Not too much, Mayor. I think you covered all of it, but it's great to see all the municipalities, resort municipalities together. And again, the common theme from all three is how do you fund water and sewer and fire rescue? And I always add the capital R to the rescue side of stuff, because that's where a lot of what the fire departments do is the rescue, emergency, first responder type services. So in all the communities are struggling with these three issues and how to fund it and how to operate it. So we're hoping that they provincially they start realizing that we need to find some other ways to fund these projects.
Well, this was the first meeting that I've been to where I felt that they have listened to us. So I think they are looking for solutions to help us with our aging infrastructure. So that happened Monday morning, breakfast meeting, and then Councillor Hoare and I went to a lunch with the BC Recreation and Parks Association lunch. And that was at a beautiful spot. Where is it called? Do you remember the name of it? Esquimalt Gorge Park and Pavilion. That's it. Yeah, that was Abby. Miss Fortune could only take 2 of us, so 3 in total. So Councillor Hoare and I went to that, and so that was a great lunch and a lovely presentation about that particular facility, which I guess I don't think it was a residential school there, but there was some history behind it that was not particularly pleasant. Do you remember?
That related more to the Japanese Canadians and the removal of them to the camps.
Okay.
Because it was the site of a Japanese garden and tea house prior to the Second World War.
So it had to do with the internment of the Japanese, yeah.
And the building had beautiful sort of Japanese-esque bits to it. Mm-hmm. And that water garden in the front was gorgeous.
Very. So that was lunch on Monday, and then my favorite session of the whole conference was called Resilient Local Leaders, Charting the Course to Support Mental Health in Elected Officials. And that was Monday from 4:30 to 6:30, which Councillor Hoare has already talked about. The keynote speaker was NHL hockey star, and he just he's written a book, but he told his story about how it's really important if you're suffering with some mental health issues to talk to somebody. And you can well imagine being a man and a hockey player, talking to somebody was not really an option back in the day, and he just wanted to sort of break that stigma and talk about, that's what his book is about. You need to talk to somebody if you're experiencing any kind of mental health issues. And I also really enjoyed when we went to one of our ministry meetings, we invited Chief Geddes to come with us, and he had never been in the legislature before, and so he was really happy to be in full uniform and sit with us and talk about the fact that there are very few grants ever available for a fire hall, and so we were kind of pushing the case for that, and we'll see what happens. And then after UBCM, I as well on Tuesday went to the National Day for Truth and Reconciliation at the secondary school. I thought that they could have done a little bit better job of promoting it. I think they promoted it to the tourists, and they had a lot of tourists through that day, but a lot of locals did not know about it. So they're going to take that under consideration for next year. But yeah, the poetry was lovely. The T-shirts were great. I did spend some time with the podcast. I don't know if you did that as well. That was really powerful, interviewing children and children interviewing elders.
I listened to one of those. Sean listened to the other that was over an hour, and I spoke to the peeps from CBT, and they said they're going to try and get those podcasts posted onto their website or linked, maybe even from the What the Tide Brings In podcast. Because, yeah, they're like an hour long and worth it, but, you know, sometimes you don't want to stand in the school listening to something for an hour. You'd rather do it in your own space. So,
And it was only on from 10 till 3, and I couldn't get there till 2:30, so I just kind of had half an hour to see what I could, and it was lovely and tear jerking as usual. Okay, that's it for me.
I had one thing.
Oh, Councillor Anderson, yeah.
other one too.
Oh, you had another one? I was just going to say, we were talking about not necessarily the best advertising for something, and there was the Island Health one. I ran into Kathy McNeil, and the CEO for Island Health, and I said, yeah, you know, it wasn't a huge turnout for that, so, but it'd be almost nice to do something else for that. So they agreed if we wanted to do a do-over for that, they would love to come down again, because talking to James Hansen, the VP of Vancouver Island Health, he said that he said in his entire career, and he's been there quite a while, he said that that's the building that he's most proud of. And I think there could be almost more of a lot of people didn't know that there was that grand opening that day, and I missed it, so I'm biased. I want to do it again. But yeah, so they said that they would be up for doing that again, and they said that Josie would also want to come back. They said they would talk to her, and they thought that she'd like to do a slightly bigger ribbon cutting on that one and give a speech.
Well, and there was no ribbon.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that would be nice. Yeah, it was by invite only, and so there were just a few of us that were invited to give speeches, but there was no media, and there was no audience, and there was no public. So, and there was no recording of it. So it would be nice to kind of do a redo on that one for sure.
We'll have to get Councillor Noel there, because I think it James Hansen said from VHA that it was your tenacity that got that building. I don't. So he was.
He did mention that as part of his speech that that you had him on speed dial. Yeah.
Once the building was built, he missed your calls, is what he said. He felt empty.
Yeah, we have a beautiful medical center. Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, just because you're ribbon cutting, I forgot to mention that the food bank is actually going to be doing ribbon cutting from 1 to 3. There'll be cake, so and it looks like the weather's going to
On
be
Saturday.
cooperating. So yeah, we'd like to show that off, and so.
So
just a reminder.
that's Saturday from 1 till 3?
Correct.
Right. Yeah, I'll be there.
That was my interjection as well, was I'd forgotten about the food bank.
Ah.
I mean, briefly forgotten about the food bank. If Chris heard me actually say I'd forgotten about the food bank, she'd probably.
We could probably pick
Smack me.
the pickleball location while we're up there. So
Right? There you go.
we'll,
Perfect.
and Richard has a suit already, so we're good to go.
And we've seen pictures of it. All right, we're now moving on to question period. This is an opportunity for the public to ask questions and comment on matters within council's jurisdiction. Representations about bylaws that council is prohibited from holding a public hearing on, or bylaws that were subject to a public hearing, are not permitted at this time. There are clearly no audience members that wish to address council. Are there any members of the public attending by Zoom or telephone that wish to address council?
Thank you, Mayor McEwen. There are no members of the public attending via Zoom at the moment, so.
And have we received any emails to communityinput@ucluelet.ca during the meeting?
Thank you, Mayor. We have not.
Okay, then I will move that the October 2nd, 2025 regular council meeting be closed to the public pursuant to the following sections of the community charter. 90(1)(a), personal information about an identifiable individual who holds or is being considered for a position as an officer, employee, or agent of the municipality or another position appointed by the municipality. 90(1)(c), labor relations or other employee relations. 90(1)(e), the acquisition, disposition, or expropriation of land or improvements if the council considers that disclosure could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality. 90(1)(g), litigation or potential litigation affecting the municipality. 90(1)(l), discussions with municipal officers and employees respecting municipal objectives, measures, and progress. Reports for the purposes of preparing an annual report under Section 98. That's my motion. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Councillor Hoare. All in favor? None opposed. That carries, and that is at 5:05.